Hello, fellow humans, and welcome back to another video. This is a rather important one, as I am changing my Mainsona, Guardian's design. I love Guardian. He's very cool, and I love slowly telling his story to you all. But the white just wasn't doing it for me. He was just too bright. I don't know if I've even ever liked that color. To know why I originally chose that color, you will need to have to know Guardian's origin, of which I have never shared with anyone before. So the first conception of Guardian was when I was reading Wings of Fire. He was not called Guardian at first. I don't think I ever gave him an actual name. It was just my own name because he was a cringy self-insert OC. I didn't share him with anyone or do anything other than imagine him going on various adventures, so at least it wasn't that cringy. Anyway, his first version was a Rainwing. Rainwings are my second favorite tribe from Wings of Fire now, but were my favorite back then because at that point I barely knew anything about the other tribes. I just thought that Rainwings looked cool. Then as I learned more about the tribes, my favorites changed. Icewings are now my favorite purely because of the design. My favorite in terms of society is probably Hivewings and Stilkwings because I found that whole plot really interesting. Honestly, most of the cultures of the other tribes aren't very well developed and kind of follow basic molds of other societies from real life. No offense to Tui, though. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm just not as invested in this world, but I love the characters and designs. Anyway, so then Guardian became an Ice-Sea hybrid with Icewing dominant traits. This is where his white color came from. As more cringy self-insert adventures happened through various series that I will not name, Guardian became less and less like an Icewing just through trial and error. When I started my channel, he was just an all-white dragon with a bright blue underbelly. He literally looked exactly like how my Frost Devils originally looked. Actually, the one thing I kept different from Icewings on him from the beginning was his tail spikes, which he was able to shoot from his tail and even pick locks with. This was brought to Frost Devils because I loved the concept. Alright, on to the design. I kept many things similar about Guardian. I made his scales darker and tinted them blue, along with giving him a bit more of an interesting marking along his back. I overall just cleaned up his design and made him easier and more interesting to draw and animate, and just look at in general. Okay, on to assets. So I'm sure as many of you know, Guardian is missing a total of 4 limbs. Both his wings, his right leg, and his back left leg. I never formally revealed how he lost his wings and hind leg, but I did reveal how he lost his front leg, so I'll talk about that. He lost his front leg trying to save a friend. He had heard rumors of a red and blue dragon and knew that it had to be his lost friend, Jasper. Overcome with guilt, his friends couldn't talk him out of running in there. He flew in too hastily and ended up losing his leg to a lackey of the villain, Arion. In my Bruno is Orange animation meme, Tyrion is the one who cuts off Guardian's leg, but I decided to change it because it is not a great introduction to the love interest, even when it's a misunderstanding or accident like it was supposed to be. And by the way, no, they do not actually get together when Tyrion is in Jasper's body. That's much later. No. Just so you know, they're just friends when he's like that. Anyway, yeah, that's how he lost his front leg. His front leg and wings were enchanted metal to work with Guardian's neurological system like normal, though he cannot feel anything through them. When I redesigned these, I simply changed them from solid metal to a more mechanical look, kind of like a steampunk design. I just added joints so it looks at least a little more realistic. The way his leg worked before was that the metal was still hard but somehow bendable and had properties like his original arm. His wings were basically made of a bunch of bladed feathers layered similarly to a bird's wing, with the prime areas individually articulated. But I decided to make that one more mechanical too. But it has the same idea, just the joints are visible. Oh, yeah, and these limbs are enchanted by Nietzsche because that's their ability. They can animate inanimate objects. Guardian's hind leg is made from futuristic technology. If any of you are wondering about the Guardian's timeline, it's weird. I think of it in seasons because that's just how I want to think of it. Currently I have 3 seasons in my head. Season 1 is from when he gets pulled into this magical mess to when he gets imprisoned in the cave. Season 2 is 2 years after Season 1 ends, starting with Guardian waking up in the cave and meeting Ezekiel. Season 3 is hundreds of years later, set in the future. It's weird, but basically the way that the Guardian universe works is that there is a chosen one for each element, spread throughout time. Currently, the known element bearers are Guardian, holding light and dark, Ezekiel, holding dream. If you make a dream SMP joke, Dan, I swear to God. And Tyrion, holding fire. Anyway, whenever the world needs saving, these element holders are called, whether they are dead or not, which is why Tyrion and Ezekiel returned to life in the first place, because the spirits looked at how badly Guardian failed in Season 1 and were like, well, this dude is incompetent, time to bring in the big guns. I don't know why I said just then that Ezekiel was brought back to life. No, he was still alive. They're all immortal unless they get killed, so... no, Ezekiel was just in hiding. Anyway, all that to say that Guardian was basically called in this way, and his friends knew about this and were nice enough to preserve his body so he wouldn't be yeeted into a random body while he was being restored like Tyrion was. Yes, he is in the future, so he gets a futuristic leg, and no, he can only be restored if his body was absolutely unusable, so he could not regrow his limbs. Although, if his body was destroyed, his limbs would grow back when it was restored. His eye is also robotic. This actually isn't exceptionally new. I mean, firstly, I made this image of him for Art Fight last year, but also he's been missing an eye from the beginning. Here's a clip from one of my videos. Don't mind my stuttering, I just don't feel like doing this gazillion times. See that? His eye is purple there with a scar across it. Originally, he was able to will his scars not be visible to other people, but I basically just got rid of that. It was purple here because originally it was restored by Arion as a way to try to get him to be like, whoa, Arion, you've killed multiple friends and family of mine. But you restored one of my eyes, so you're pretty cool. Of course you can possess me. Obviously, that didn't work. And then I added that mark on his neck. I kinda just got sick of the amulet. As you can see, I have it on older versions of Guardian, but after Arion possesses him, he loses the amulet. By older versions, I mean, earlier in the timeline. There are still new ones from this redesign. Instead, that mark gets permanently burned into Guardian's scales. Even in his human form, which I have never revealed on YouTube, it still appears on his upper chest and lower neck. Ezekiel also has this mark tattooed on his arm, because the mark is actually a symbol, in this universe, of the balance between good and evil. It is basically a combination of Arion's mark, the moon of the star, and the light element's mark, the sun. I also gave Guardian a cape to wear between when he loses his wings and when he gets new metal ones. I decided that Guardian wouldn't want to walk around with the big scars across his back, so I just gave it to him to cover them up. Arion doesn't really care when he possesses them, though. Okay, one more story about Guardian for fun. This will be about how his name shifted from my name to Guardian. Honestly, there's a lot of dumb crap that I did because I didn't like people seeing me as female, somehow not realizing I was trans, and having Guardian change his name was one of them. That's also why I didn't have you guys call me by my middle name for long when Vixie, my sister, suggested it. Same for KJ. The names just felt too feminine for me. So one day, in my cringy self-insert stories, I basically had Guardian decide that he wasn't who he used to be. They had changed a lot and he was not the person that people had known him as before, in that he wanted to be called something else because he wasn't blank anymore. Blank meaning my name, I just didn't want to say it. So he chose Guardian, because that's how he felt to his friends. They're Guardian. Definitely not because I've been playing The Last Guardian all the time at that time. So that's how he became Guardian. In one of my numerous unintentional metaphors for being trans before I even knew I was. 3 years before that. This one is a bit more of a stretch than the others, so you can take the metaphor part with a grain of salt, but I did this kind of crap a lot, and the others are much more blatant, but somehow not purposeful. Anyway, that is all I have to say about this redesign. I'm very happy of it. I'm very happy of how it turned out. I finally feel like Guardian is truly my character, rather than some random fandom OC or a basic 5-year-old's OC. I am really, really happy of how they look, and I hope you guys like him too. I know a friend of mine wasn't as happy with his redesign as I was, but my main problem was I just couldn't stand the blinding colors, man. I hope you understand now after this long-as-heck video. By the way, I still have so many of these redesigns to go. I need to do one for Arion, well, his true form, Hadar, Aisling, and Jasper. I'm not liking any of their designs either. Oh lord, this is going to take a while. Anyway, I hope you all have an amazing day. I shall see you in the next video. Take care.